Hamlin Towns in Brunswick, my famous Hanover city. The river Weser, deep and wide, washes its wall on the southern side. A pleasanter spot you've never spied. But when begins my ditty, almost 500 years ago, to see the townsfolk suffer so from vermin was a pity. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats, and bit the babies in the cradles, and ate the cheeses from the vats, and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles, split open the kegs of salted sprats, they nest the men's Sunday hats, and even spoiled the women's chats by drowning out their speaking with shrieking and squeaking with 50 sharps and flats. I gotta go get coffee. I don't know why I started reciting poetry. I ordered a Starbucks coffee. Should be ready in a few minutes. Or it might be ready now, actually. I'll be back in 2 shakes of a jig. Hamlin towns in Brunswick by famous Hanover City. The river Weser, deep and wide, washes its wall on the southern side. A pleasanter spot you never spied. But when begins my ditty, almost 500 years ago, to see the townsfolk suffer so from vermin was a pity. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats, and bit the babies in the cradles, and ate the cheeses from the vats, and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles, split open the kegs of salted sprats, made nests in Sunday hats, and even spoiled the women's chats by drowning out their speaking with shrieking and squeaking in 50 different sharps and flats. At last the people in a body to the town hall came flocking. "'Tis clear," cried they, "our mayor is a naughty, and as for our corporation, shocking, to think we buy gowns lined with ermine, for dolts who can't or won't determine what's best to rid us of our vermin. You hope because you're old and obese to find in the furry civic robes ease. Rouse up, sirs, give your brains a racking, to find the remedy we are lacking, for sure as fate will send you packing." At this, the mayor and corporation quaked with a mighty consternation. An hour they sat in council. At length the mayor broke silence. "For a builder, eyed my vermin gown sell. I wish I were a mile hence. It's easy to bid one rack one's brain. I'm sure my poor head aches again. I scratch it so, but all in vain. Oh, for a trap, a trap, a trap." Just as said this, what should hap? At the chamber door, but a gentle tap. "Bless us," cried the mayor, "what's that?" It's the corporation as he sat, looking little through wondrous fat. Nor brighter were his eyes, nor moister, than a too long opened oyster, save when at noon his paunch grew mutinous, for a plate of turtle green and glutinous. Only a scraping of shoes on a mat, anything like the sound of a rat makes my heart go pit-a-pat. "Come in," cried the mayor, looking bigger, and in did come the strangest figure. His long queer coat from heel to head was half yellow and half red, and he himself was tall and thin, with sharp blue eyes, each like a pin, and light loose hair and swarthy skin, nor tuft of hair on cheek, nor beard on chin. But lips or smile went out and in, there was no guessing his kith or kin, and nobody could enough admire this tall man in his quaint attire. Quoth one, "It's as my great-grandsire, starting up at the trump of doom's tone, had walked this way from his painted tombstone." He advanced towards the council table. "And please, your honor," said he, "I am able, by means of secret charm, to draw all the creatures living beneath the sun, they crawl or swim or fly or run, after me so as you never saw. And I chiefly use my charm on creatures that do people harm, the mole and toad and dinky viper. People call me the Pied Piper." Here they noticed round his neck a scarf of red and yellow stripe, to match with his coat the self-same check. And at scarf's end hung a pipe. His fingers they noticed were ever straying, as if impatient to be playing upon this pipe, as low it dangled over his vesture so old-fangled. "Yes," said he, "Pied Piper as I am, in Tartaria fred the cam, last June from his huge swarms of gnats. I ease in Asia the Nizam, the monster brood of vampire bats. And as for what your brain bewilders, if I rid your town of rats, will you give me 1,000 guilders?" 50,000 was the exclamation of an astonished mayor and corporation. Into the street the piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Like a musical adept, his lips he wrinkled and blew. Into the street the piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Like a musical adept to blow his pipe, his lips he wrinkled, and green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame where salt is sprinkled. And ere 3 shrill notes the pipe uttered, you heard as if an army muttered, and a muttering grew to a grumbling, and a grumbling grew to a mighty rumbling, and out of the houses came the rats tumbling. Great rats, green rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, gray rats, honey rats, grave-old plotters, gay young visitors, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, talking tails and pricking whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the Pied Piper for their lives. The street he piped advancing, and step for step they followed dancing, until they came to the river Weser, wherein all plunged and perished, save one who stout as Julius Caesar, swam across and lived to carry, as he the manuscript he cherished, to Ratland home his commentary, which was, at first shrill notes of the pipe, I heard a sound as of scraping tripe, putting apples wondrous ripe into the cider presses bright, and moving away of pickle tub boards, leaving a jar of conserve cupboards, and drawing the corks of train oil flask, and breaking hoops of butter casks. It seemed as if a voice, sweeter far than by harp or by psaltery is breathed, called out, "Oh, rats, rejoice! The world has grown to a vast rice-saltery. So munch on, crunch on, take your lunch on, breakfast, supper, dinner, lunch on, and just a bulky sugar punch on, already staved like a great sun shone, gracious scarce an inch before me, just methought it said come for me, I found the Weser rolling over me." You should have heard the Hamlin people ring the bells as they rock the steeple. "Go," cried the mayor, "get long poles, poke up the nest and block up the holes, consult with carpenters and builders, and leave in our town not even a trace of the rats." So I forgot my train of thought there. I got derailed. Hey, good morning. I was reciting Pied Piper of Hamelin there. I'm having a bit of a issue reciting it this morning though. I usually don't have a problem with this one. I think it's a little bit of sleep deprivation. It's causing me some strife, some mental strife. Fortunately, I have a couple days off coming up here, so much needed rest. Into the sweet piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Like a musical adept to blow his pipe, his lips he wrinkled, in green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame where salt is sprinkled. And ere 3 shrill notes of pipe uttered, he heard as if an army muttered. The muttering grew to a grumbling, the grumbling grew to a mighty rumbling, and out of the houses came the rats tumbling. Great rats, small rats, lean rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, gray rats, tawny rats, grave old plotters, gay young friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, talking tails and pricking whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the Pied Piper for their lives. From street to street he piped advancing, and step for step they followed dancing, until they came to the river Weser, wherein all plunged and perished, save one who stout as Julius Caesar, swam across, lived to carry, as he the manuscript he cherished, to Ratland home his commentary, which was, at first shrill notes of the pipe, I heard a sound as a scraping tripe, putting apples wondrous ripe into the cider presses gripe, and moving away of pickle tub boards, leaving a jar of conserve cupboards, and drawing the corks of train oil flasks, and breaking hoops of butter casks. It seemed as if a voice, sweeter far than by harp or by psalteries breathed, called out, "Oh, rats, rejoice! The world has grown to a vast rice-saltery. So munch on, crunch on, take your lunch on, breakfast, supper, dinner, lunch on, and just a bulky sugar punch on, already staved like a great sun shone, gracious scarce an inch before me, just as methought it said come bore me, I found the Weser rolling over me." You should have heard the Hamlin people ring the bells as they rock the steeple. "Go," cried the mayor, "get long poles, poke up the nest and block up the holes, consult with carpenters and builders, leave in our town not even a trace of the rats." When suddenly up the face of the piper perked in the marketplace, the first, if you please, by 1,000 guilders. 1,000 guilders? The mayor looked blue, so did the corporation too. For council dinners made were havoc with claret, sal, bidden de gras hawk, and half the money would replenish their cellar's biggest butt of Rhenish, to pay this sum to a wondering fellow, with gypsy coat of red and yellow. Besides, quoth the mayor with a knowing wink, our business was done at the river's brink. We saw with our eyes the vermin sink. What's dead can't come to life, I think. So, friend, we're not folks to shrink from our duty of giving you something to drink, and a matter of money to put in your pokes. But as for the guilders, what we spoke of them, as you well know, wasn't joke. Besides, our losses have made us thrifty. 1,000 guilders, come take 50. The piper's face fell and he cried, "No trifling, I can't wait beside. I promise a visit by dinner time, Baghdad, and accept the crime, the head cook's pottage. All he's rich in, for having left in the caliph's kitchen, of a nest of scorpions, no survivor. With him I prove no bargain driver. With you don't think I'll bait a stiver. And folks who put me in a passion may find me pipe after another fashion. How, cried the mayor, do you think I brook, being worse treated than a cook, insulted by a rival, with idle pipe and vesture piebald? Threaten us, fellow, do your worst, blow your pipe there till you burst. Once more he stepped into the street, and to his lips again laid his long pipe a smooth straight cane. And ere he blew 3 notes, such sweet soft notes as yet musicians cunning never gave the enraptured air. There was a rustling that seemed like a bustling of merry crowds justling and pitching and hustling, small feet were pattering, wooden shoes clattering, little hands clapping, little tongues chattering, like foals in the farmer and barley is scattering. Oh, came the children running, all the little boys and girls, with rosy cheeks and flaxen curls, and sparkling eyes and teeth like pearls, tripping and skipping ran merrily after, with wonderful music of shouting and laughter. The mayor was dumb and the council stood, as if it changed the block of wood, unable to move a step or cry, to the children merrily skipping by, could only follow with an eye that joyous crowd at the piper's back, and how the mayor was on the rack, and the wretched council's bosoms beat, as the piper turned from the high street, to where the west had rolled its waters, right in the way of their sons and daughters. Power returned from south to west, and to Copperbrook Hill his steps addressed, and after him the children pressed. Great was the joy in every breast. He never crossed the mighty top, he's forced to let the piping drop, and we shall see our children stop. When lo, they reached the mountainside, wondrous portal opened wide, as if a cavern was suddenly hollowed. Piper advanced and the children followed. When all were in to the very last, the door of the mountainside shut fast. Did I say all? No, one was lame, and could not dance the whole of the way. And in after years, if you blame the sadness you used to say, is dull on our town since my playmates left. I can't forget that I'm bereft of all the pleasant sights they see, which the piper also promised me. For he led, as he said, to a joyous land, joining the town at just at hand, where waters gushed and fruit trees grew, and flowers were forth fair of hue, and everything was strange and new. The sparrow was bred a peacock here, and dogs overran our fellow deer, and honeybees had lost their stings, and horses were born with eagle's wings. And just as I became assured, my lame foot would be speedily cured, the music stopped and I stood still, and found myself outside the hill, left behind against my will, to go now limping as before, and never hear of that country more. Alas, alas, for Hamelin, there came to many a burgher's pate a text which says at heaven's gate, hopes the rich at as easy rate as the needle's eye takes a camel in. The mayor said east, west, north, and south, talk for the piper by word of mouth, wherever was men's lot to find him, silver and gold to his heart's content, if only he'd return the way he went, and bring the children behind him. But when they saw it was lost endeavor, the piper and dancers were gone forever, they made a decree that lawyers never should think their records dated duly, if after the day of the month and year, these words do not as well appear. And so long after what happened here, on the 22nd of July, 1376, in the better in memory to fix the place of the children's last retreat, they called it the Pied Piper Street, where anyone playing pipe or tabor was sure for his future lose his labor, or suffered they hospital or tavern, shocked with mirth the street so solemn, and opposite the place of the cavern, they wrote the story on a column, and no great church window painted, saying to make the world acquainted how their children were stolen away, and there it stands this very day. And I must not omit to say, in Transylvania there is a tribe of alien people who ascribe the way and dress, of which their neighbors lay such stress, to their fathers and mothers having risen, of some subterranean prison, into which they were Japan, a long time ago in a mighty band, out of Hamlin towns and Brunswick land, but how or why they don't understand. So, Lily, let me and you be wipers, of scores out with all men, especially pipers. And if they should pipe us free from rats, from mice, if we promise them aught, let us keep our promise. There was once a young man named Roland Pye who played the recorder when he wasn't baking bagels. One day he was walking through a park and playing his recorder to rest a while from all his baking, when suddenly he spied a corpse lying on the ground beneath a swarm of flies. He put down his recorder, walked over to the corpse, shooed the flies away, and covered the dead man with stones. Returning to his oven later that day, he found that his oven blade had gone on by itself and already baked half the bagels he needed. From that day on, Roland Pye was the happiest baker alive. He'd bake until he was tired, then he'd pull his recorder out of his pocket while his oven blade went on by itself. But Roland Pye lived in a town whose mayor did not admire his skill and was jealous of his fame. So the mayor devised a plan to rid the town of Roland. In the beginning he said that Roland was a good worker, but lazy. Next he said that Roland baked a whole lot, but badly. Then he accused Roland of being a sorcerer. The people turned on him. Therefore, Roland Pye took his recorder and left his home behind. When Roland Pye came to a neighboring town, he went to all the business owners, but none of them would give him any work. Finally, he met an old busker and asked him for work to keep body and mind together. "Come along with me," said the old man, "and we will share alms." So Roland Pye and the old man started going around and singing, "Baker, why do you bear those silent things? Baker, how did you forget to stand where your feet are? Baker, no woman loves your wealth, although it is gold and good for her health. Baker, you are too dirty for a lover to wish to free. Your limbs are the knots and cords of an old-fashioned machine. Baker, line the rings and bash the boards. You don't need their applause for a thing that is yours. You are a baker and are what you are, not by a miracle, but by the work of your arms. Baker, be who you are." Everybody gave alms to the old man. "To Roland," they said, "what is a young man like you out begging? Why don't you work for a living?" "Nobody will hire me," replied Roland Pye. "That's what you say. There is a king with so many hungry soldiers that he'll pay good wages to anyone willing to feed them." So Roland Pye went to the king's kitchen and took the old man whose alms he'd been sharing. The oven had never been used by anyone. Roland mixed the dough, then he rolled it into rings. Then he boiled them, dressed them with seeds, and baked them until they're golden brown. Then he tossed them into a crate to cool down. Whenever Roland wearied of baking, he'd play his recorder. Once he was weary of playing his recorder, he'd sing, "Baker, why do you bear those silent things? Baker, how did you forget to stand where your feet are? Baker, no woman loves your wealth, although it is gold and good for health. Baker, you are too dirty for a lover to wish to preen. Your limbs are the knots and cords of an old-fashioned machine. Baker, line the rings and bash the boards. You don't need their applause for a thing that is yours. You are a baker and are what you are, not by a miracle, but by the work of your arms. Baker, be who you are." Hearing the singing, a princess looked out the window. She saw Roland Pye and fell in love with him. But she was a baker. But she was a princess and he a baker. The king would never consent to their marriage. So they decided to run away together. They fled at night in a boat. They were already on the high seas when Roland remembered the busker. He said to his beloved, "We must fetch the old man, since he shared his alms with me. We can't go off and leave him like that." At that very moment, the old man came up behind the boat, walking on the water as though it had been dry land. Reaching the boat, he said, "We agreed to divide everything we had, and I shared everything I own. Now you have the king's daughter, and must give half of her to me." At this he gave Roland Pye the knife to cut his bride in two. Roland Pye took the knife with a trembling hand. "You are right," he said. "You are perfectly right. He was on the point of cutting his bride in two when suddenly the old man stopped. Stop! I knew you were a just man. I am the dead man, mind you, whom you covered with stones. Go now, and may the two of you always be happy. At this, the old man walked away on the waves. The boat came to an island rich in all good things, the princely palace awaiting the newlyweds. My first thought was he lied in every word, that hoary cripple with malicious eye, askance to watch the working of his lie on mine, and mouth scarce able to afford suppression of the glee that pursed and scored its edge at one more victim gained thereby. What else should he be set for with his staff? What saved waylay with his lies and snare? All travels might find posted there. And asked the road, I guessed what skull like black and grape, what crutch can write my epitaph for pastime in the dusty thoroughfare. If at his counsel I should turn aside into ominous track which all agree hides the dark tower, yet acquiescing I did turn as he pointed, neither pride nor hope rekindling at the end descried, so much as gladness some end might be. For what with my whole world wide wondering, what with my search drawn out through years, my hope dwindled into a ghost not fit to cope with that obstreperous joy success would bring. I hardly tried now to rebuke the spring my heart made, finding failure in its scope. As a sick man very near to death seems dead indeed, and feels begin and end the tears, and takes a farewell of each friend, and hears one bid the other go, draw breath freely or outside, since all is over, he saith, no blow fall and no grieving can amend. While some discuss if near other graves be room enough for this, or when a day suits best for carrying the corpse away, with care both banners, scarfs, and staves, and still the man hears all and only craves, and may not shame such tender love and stay. Thus I had for so long suffered in this quest, heard failure prophesied so oft been writ, so many times among the band of wit. The knights who to dark tower search should dress their steps, that just fail as they seem best, and all doubt was now should I be fit. So quiet as despair I turned from him, the hateful cripple, out of his highway into the path he pointed. All the day had been a dreary one at best, and dim was settling into its close, yet shot one grim red leer to see the plain catch its stray. For mark, no sooner was I fairly found, pledged the plain after a pace or two, then pausing throw backward a last view, over the safe road 'twas gone, grey plain all round, nothing but plain to the horizon's bound. I must go on, naught else remained to do. So on I went. I think I never saw such starved ignoble nature. Nothing throve, for flowers as well expect a cedar grove. But chortle and spurge according to their law might propagate their kind with none to awe, or take a bird being a treasure trove. No Penry inertus ingram mace, in some strange sort were the land's portion. See or close your eyes, said nature peevishly, and nothing skills, I can't help my case. 'Tis last judgment fire must cure this place, kelse on its clods and set my prisoners free. If there pushed any ragged thistle stalk above its mates, its head was chopped. The bents were jealous else, what made the holes and rents in the dock's harsh swarth leaves, bruised as to balk all hope of greenness, 'tis a brute must walk, passing the life with a brute's intents. As for the grass, it grew as scarce as hair in leprosy. Thin, dry blades pricked the mud which underneath it kneaded up with blood. One stiff, blind horse's every bone to stare, stood stupefied however he came there, thrust out past service from the devil's stud. Alive, he might be dead for aught I know, with red, gaunt, and calloped neck astray, and shut eyes beneath the rusty mane. Seldom went such grotesqueness with such woe. I never saw a brute I hated so. He must have been wicked to deserve such pain. I shut my eyes and turned them on my heart, as a man calls for wine before he fights. I asked one draught of earlier, happier sights. Ere fitly I could hope to play the part. Think first, fight afterwards, a soldier's art. One taste of old time sets all to rights. Not it. I fancied Cuthbert's reddening face beneath its garniture of curly gold. Dear fellow, till I almost felt him fold an arm in mine to fix me to that place, that way he used. Alas, one night's disgrace, I went my heart's new fire and left it cold. Giles, then, the soul of honor, there he stands, frank as 10 years ago when knighted first. An honest man should dare, he said he durst. Good, but the scene shifts, thaw what hangman's hand pinned to his breast of parchment. His own band reads it, poor traitor spit upon and cursed. Better this present than a past like that. Back therefore to my darkening path. No sound will sight as far as the eye can strain. Will the nights in a howlet or bad, I asked, when something on the dismal flat came to arrest my thoughts and change their train. A sudden little river crossed my path, as unexpected as a serpent came. No tides congenial to the glooms. This is a trough by, might have been a bath of the fiend boy who, to see the wrath of its black edges, be spat with plates and spoons. So petty yet so spiteful, all along low scrubby alders kneeled over it, drenched willows flung them headlong in a fit drunk despair, a suicidal throng. The river which had done them all the wrong, whatever that was, rolled by, deterred no wit. Which while I forded, good saints, how I feared to set my foot upon a dead man's cheek. Each step afield a spear I thrust to seek for hollows tangled in his hair or beard. It may have been a water rat I speared, but ugh, it sounded like a baby's shriek. Glad was I to reach other bank, now for a better country. Vain presage, who are the strugglers? What war did they wage? Whose savage trample could thus pad the dank soil to a plash? Toads in a poison tank, or wild cats in a red-hot cage. The fight must so have seemed in that foul search. What penned them there with all the plain to choose? No footsteps leading to that horrid muse. None out of it. Mad Bruits set to work their brains, no doubt, like galley slaves the Turk pits for his pastime, Christians and these Jews. And more than that, a furlong on, why there? What bad use was that engine for? That wheel or brake, not wheel. That harrow fit to reel men's bodies out like silk, with all the air of Coffin's tool, on earth left unaware, brought to sharpen its rusted teeth of steel. So then came some stub ground, once a wood, next a marsh would seem, now mere earth. Desperate and done with, so the fool finds mirth, makes a thing and mars it, till his mood changes and off he goes. Within a rude bog, clay and marsh, sand and stark black dirt. Now blotches rankling colored gay and grim. Now patches burst the leanness of the soils, broke new moss or substances like boils. Then came a palsido, a cleft in him, a distorted mouth that splits its wing, gaping at death and dies while it coils. As far as ever from the end, not in the distance but the evening hawk, point my footsteps further at the thought. Great black bird of Polybius bosom fin, sailed past her feet as wide wings dragon pen, to brush my cap perchance to God I saw it. For looking up where I somehow grew, plain and given place all round the mountains with such names and grace in your heights and deeps now stolen in view. How this they surprised me saw the view. How to get from there was no clear case. Yet half I seemed to recognize some trick of mischief had happened to me. God knows when, in a bad dream perhaps. Here ended then progress this way, when in the very nick of giving up one more time came to click, as when the trap shuts you're in the den. Burningly it came upon me all at once. This was the place, those two hills crouched like two bulls while corn in fight, while to the left is the tall scalp mountain, dunce, dotard, and dozing at the very fence, after a lifetime of training for the sight. Not see what in the midst lay but the tower itself, the round squat turret, blind as a fool's heart, built of brown stone without a counterpart in the whole world. The tempest mocking elf points his ship and thus the unseen shelf he strikes on only when timbers start. Not see, because of night perhaps, why day came back for that. Behind it left the dying sunset kindled to a cleft. The hills like two giants in the hunting lay. Chin upon hand see the game at bay. Now stab and end the creature to the heft. Not here, when noise was everywhere, it told, increasing like a bell, names in my ears, of lost adventurers, my peers. How such was strong, and such was bold, and such was fortunate that each of old. Lost, one moment now the woe of years. There they stood, ranged along the hillside met, to view the last of me, a living frame, for one more picture in a sheet of flame. I saw them and knew them all, and yet dauntless slug one to my lips I set and flew. Child rolling to a dark tower came. Morning. Hey, hello. What's on the menu? Bagels. Bagels, and more bagels. We got bagels with fish on it. We got bagels with meat, beef. We got bagels with cheese. We got bagels with peanut butter. We got bagels. Bagels. Plenty of bagels. Bagels galore. Bagels galore. This is in Richmond. Richmond, British Columbia, Canada. But we have several locations throughout the lower mainland. There's one on the North Shore, or two on the North Shore in North Vancouver. And we got, then there was two in Vancouver, one on Main Street and one on Commercial and Commercial Drive. And then we have another one in Surrey. This one's in Richmond though. These are everything bagels, and they're looking pretty good, I think. Yeah, they're ready. Yeah, maple. Oh, maple syrup. I eat maple syrup every day. I love maple syrup. I love me some maple syrup. Land of bagels and maple syrup. We're not the land of milk and honey. We're the land of bagels and maple syrup. Kimchi. I don't eat. I think I've eaten kimchi. I don't eat a lot of it though. Yeah, maple syrup is to Canadians what kimchi is to Koreans, I think. Does that make sense? Maple syrup is to Canadians as kimchi is to Koreans. That bears repeating, I think. I love maple syrup. I put it on my pancakes. I put it on my salad. I put it in my lemonade. I put it on my oatmeal. I don't put it in my coffee though. It's not very good in coffee. In my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I should give it another shot though. This is an oven right here. This is where I'm baking the bagels, and then this right here is the pot that I boil the bagels in. And then these are the boards. I put the bagels on these boards, and they go into the oven. So I'm going to take this batch out of the water right away. It's almost done. I'm going to probably end my broadcast fairly soon. I should be getting a coworker coming in pretty soon here. I usually shut it down when I get a coworker. Coworker arrives, I should say. So these are bagels that have been boiled. So these are the boards. These are some boards that I use. This is a broom. This is my oven room. This is the pot. And this right here is an open air oven. I don't know what you call it. A deck. I guess you call it a fire deck oven. Fire deck. It has a stone deck, and it's a gas-fired oven. So these are I'm just shaping the bagels here, putting them on a wet board. The boards have to be wet, or else the bagels will stick. This is just one way to make bagels. There's probably many ways to make bagels. These are Canadian style bagels, or Montreal style bagels. I call them Canadian style because they're more prevalent than just Montreal. The bagels are cooked in, there's honey added to the water here. We should use maple syrup though, that would be awesome. We should put maple syrup in the water, I think that would be better. Okay, I can put my next batch into the pot here. So. Oh, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Thank you. Come again. Come again. Watch whenever you like. I don't stream very often, but try to do it once a week, I guess. There was once a rich man who had just one son, and the boy was dearly loved by his father. As everybody knows, the greatest scourge on earth for a rich man is work. Therefore, when his son turned 14, the father decided to send him to school to learn the science of laziness. On the same street as the rich man, there lived a famous and highly respected professor who had never done a lick of work in his life he could get out of doing. The rich man called on him and found him stretched out in the garden under a fig tree, with a cushion under his head, a cushion under his back, and a cushion under his buttocks. Before talking to him, I must first see how he does, said the rich man to himself, and he hid behind a hedge to observe the man. The professor lay as still as a corpse with his eyes closed. The only time he stirred was whenever he heard the thud of a ripe fig falling on the ground near where he lay. He'd reach slowly out, bring the fruit to his mouth, and swallow it. Then he wouldn't stir again until another fig fell. This is just the professor my son needs, decided the rich man. He came out from his hiding place, introduced himself, and asked the professor if he'd teach his son the science of laziness. Old man, answered the professor, just above a whisper. Don't talk so much. It tires me to listen to you. If you want to bring your son up as you and I are, just send him to me. So the rich man went home, took his son by the hand, thrust a feathered pillow under his arm, and led him to the garden. I urge you, he told him, to do everything you see this Professor Vitalness do. The boy, who already had an inclination for that particular science, also stretched out under the fig tree. Observing his teacher, he saw him reach for every fig that fell and bring it to his mouth. Why should I work myself to death, reach for figs, he thought. And he lay there with his mouth wide open. Soon a fig fell into his mouth, and he let it go down slowly. Then he reopened his mouth. Another fig fell. This time it missed. He lay there perfectly still and murmured, "Why so wide of the mark? Fig fall into my mouth." Seeing how wise his pupil already was, the professor said, "Go on now. You have nothing to learn from me. You can even teach me something." So the boy went home to his father, who thanked heaven for having given him such a smart son. Have you ever stepped on a bug on purpose before? Yes. Yes. I step on bugs all the time, on purpose all the time. I'm not a Janist or anything. Sometimes you have to kill a bug in order to preserve the sanctity and hygiene of your homestead. I should probably not step on bugs anymore, though, considering that they're sort of facing a insect apocalypse right now. I usually try to kill them with one slap. I don't grind them or anything. I just like a nice good slap, a quick death. I don't want to prolong any kind of agony an insect might feel. Ow. No, because then you don't have to kill their progeny, their offspring. You get them all at once. You get them. This is the gospel according to the kids in the hall. One day, God said, this is what I'll do. I'll send down my son. I'll send him down to you to clear up this humpity-bumpty hullabaloo. His name will be Christ, and he'll never wear shoes. His friends will call him the King of the Jews. He didn't come in a plane. He didn't come in a jeep. He didn't come in the pouch of a high-jumping Volbeat. He rode on the back of a black Saskatoon, the blackiest creature ever confused. He rode into Jerusalem, home of the grumpy Jews, where false prophets worshipped Sundays and twos. There was Murray, Von Murr, and Genghis Booze, the one you can worship taking a snooze. Christ spoke from a mount, wild ground, and people gathered around without making a sound. Thus he spake, sin in socks full of sin. How shall we quiet this Jehovah din? Do unto others as others do unto you. That includes you, Timothy Fu. And one Pharisee said to another Jew, what shall we do about this uppity Jew? Wash him in wine and make him all clean, and into San Vido's crucifixion machine. Twirl the whirl and release the galees, and in go the nails as fast as you please. He said as he bled, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do, because they walk through this world wearing 2 crappity shoes. Do you? Amen. Oh, look at that. You gave me an, alright, actually, because I was doing this challenge, I'm not sure if you've seen it before, but it's a challenge where you squash the bug like you did in the movie. YouTube, and it's in it. Just pretend. Probably not. I sort of feel uncomfortable squashing a bug on and putting it on YouTube. It seems sort of unethical. It seems like that. I don't think. I think you should only kill a bug out of necessity. If it's invading your house, that requires, it's a necessity. But it should not be glorified. It should not be glorified on YouTube or Instagram. The senseless execution of insects should not be. I think I'm ethically opposed to that. I'm especially opposed to it if somebody's getting sexual gratification from it. Okay. Thanks for asking. That was a very unusual conversation that I was not expecting to have this morning. Oh, bagel down. I lost the bagel. Well, good luck with your project, though. I would squash a bug on camera if I could make it look like I squashed the bug without killing it. You can do that on film. You can make yourself look like you did something you didn't. Anyways, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. I have a couple days off and get some rest. I might do some gaming on my days off. If you're aching for some mediocre content, come and watch some mediocre gameplay on my mediocre stream. Anyways, yeah, thanks for watching. That's all she wrote. Bagel she wrote. Bagel she wrote. Thank you. Have an excellent morning. Thank you for the wonderful conversation. I might consider this challenge based on movie, but make sure, I'm not sure if you've seen it before, squish a bug like they did in the movie, and you do it on Instagram. Curious responses. That's interesting. Anyways, yeah, thanks for watching.